During the People's Summit over the weekend, Bernie Sanders continued to take the Democratic Party to task for their disastrous loss during the presidential election. Let's take a look at some of that.
Now, I'm often asked by the media and others, how did it come about that Donald Trump, the most unpopular presidential candidate in the modern history of our country, won the election? And my answer is that Trump didn't win the election. The Democratic Party lost the election. Let us be very, very clear. The current model and the current strategy of the Democratic Party is an absolute failure. This is not my opinion. This is the facts. You know, we focus a lot on the presidential election, but we also have to understand that Democrats have lost the U.S. House, the U.S. Senate. Republicans now control almost 2/3 of the governor's chairs throughout this country. And over the last 9 years, Democrats have lost almost 1,000 legislative seats in states all across this country. Today, in almost half of the states in America, Democratic Party has almost no political presence at all. Now, if that's not a failure, if that's not a failed model, I don't know what a failed model is.
All right, so there's Bernie Sanders essentially laying out why the Democratic Party sucks. And it does, for all the different reasons that he pointed out. Now, look, what I think they need to do is they need to focus on progressive issues. They have lost so much because instead of being party of the working class, it is, and by the way, of all the working class, not just working class whites, and that's something, of course, the corporate Democrats, the Hillary Clinton people love to go and point out, oh my God, to see, he's not including people of color. He must be a racist. Yes, they've actually attacked this guy as being a racist. It's insanity. No, working class includes everybody. Now, look, right now the Democratic Party, and look, you can say the Republicans too, because they are more so, but the Democratic Party is part of Wall Street. And they get a lot of money from Wall Street, Republicans and Democrats. I mean, you got to remember, back in 2000, Wall Street firms were some of the biggest donors to Barack Obama. And they also still continue to fund a lot of the Democrats. Now, big corporations also fund a lot of the Democrats, and that influences their decisions. That influences their policy. I mean, when you think about it, they're like, no, that doesn't influence policy at all. It's you guys, it's the people. That's laughable. Somebody gives you a sack of money and says, well, here you go, but I would like you to do this. Are you going to be like, nah, I don't feel like doing that? No, you're going to most likely do what your donors tell you to do, especially if you need that money to win an election. So that's the problem here. Now, these big corporations, well, they're at odds with labor, okay? Now, again, who do you think the politicians are going to favor? Their donors or the people that they're supposed to represent? That's the problem with our system, and you guys already know the answer. And that's, of course, unfortunately, one reason why Republicans continue to win over and over and over again. If you give a choice between right-wing corporatist and massively right-wing, well, the Republicans, of course, are going to turn out. The more right-wing candidate usually ends up winning the election, especially when it comes to red states. Now, that's there because you have essentially a false choice. I mean, you don't even have a choice at all. Because think about it. Well, liberals and progressives, they're not going to turn out for Republican versus Republican light. Republicans, of course, are going to be like, well, why would I vote for this guy? Like, yeah, some of their economic issues are better, but then again, abortion, these guys are massively right-wing, pro-gun, pro-life. We're going to go with that guy. We're going to go with the Republican, not Republican right. Screw your, crappy choice. And that's how this game is unfortunately played. And here you have the consultants, by the way, with their brilliant reasoning out there, convincing Democrats to go further to the right in order to court Republicans. We saw how that worked out in the election. We know that Hillary Clinton went after the Jeb Bush, the Romney voters. Well, guess what? Those voters still ended up voting for Trump. That is not how you win. And right now, in this election, this past election especially, change beats the status quo. That is something that Donald Trump had promised. Okay, and that is the lesson of 2016. Do not run as a no change candidate. Do not run without a vision, because you're going to get slaughtered. And the Democratic Party, they got slaughtered. This was their election to lose, and they lost it. You can't blame it on Russia, Comey, Bernie Sanders, or Jill Stein. No, the Democrats ran the most unpopular Democratic candidate that they could find, and surprise, surprise, they lost. Time to get with the program, Democrats, or you're going to end up never winning another election ever again. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.